What's going on, Shady people? ShadyPenguinn here. Welcome you back to another Shady Teams in Review. And today's a very cool episode because I'm going to be reviewing the team that I used in the San Jose Regional Championships that just passed this past weekend. I don't like saying past and past, but today we're going to jump into this. And this team took a very long time. Pretty long time. I don't want to say a very long time, and I think I forgot to mention that in my San Jose experience. Like I realistically, even though I'm always kind of thinking of new teams because of creating content on YouTube, realistically, I didn't spend too much time making this team as far as days. I spent a lot of hours thinking about it, but realistically, I only had 5 or 6 days to plan. So this is what I came up with. This team let me go 6-2 at my first regional event. So at my first actually Pokemon event ever, the only other event I've entered would be Apex, which was definitely not anywhere near as intense as this event was. So I was really happy with the performance of this team. I probably could have played it even better. So I think this team didn't get to see its true strength in my hands. So if you guys want to go ahead and make this team, do your best to do so and try it out maybe on BattleSpot against your friends at events, whatever. But this is what I used. It's not, like I said, it's not the best team in the format for sure, but I really enjoyed using it. So we're gonna go over it right now. I don't want to waste any more of your time. And we changed the layout of things. Like I feel like being in my office right now, not just green screened. So we're actually in my office. Poplio is waiting for some comedy to happen at some point. Probably won't though, because I'm on the mic and not him. The first thing I really wanted to do is I really wanted to use Tapu Bulu. That was what I kind of based my whole team around. I think this is this is my favorite Tapu right now, for sure. Just everything about it, I love it. It's straight up raw power is ridiculous. And before we jump really far into this team, I just need to thank Marcus and I need to thank Wolf Glick, the world champion Wolf Glick, for giving me some tips on some spreads, which Pokemon to go with, finding some synergy, etc. I really do appreciate it. And then I also want to thank Cybertron just for being a really good friend during the regionals and kind of keeping me from getting tilted when I got completely hacked out. I just wanted to throw my 3DS in the trash and he kind of kept me sane, which I really appreciated. So thank you guys, all three of you, so much. And of course, let's jump into this. So Tapu Bulu right here is an Adamant Tapu Bulu. It's you guys can see its stats on the screen as well. This is at level 100. Obviously, this isn't level 50, but this is what the stats look like at level 100. I had to train this guy up to level 100 because I ended up bottle capping, I think, one of my stats on this one. I think my special attack is bad, which is fine, and then my special defense was not max, so I had to bottle cap that. As far as spreads go, I should have totally pulled that up before starting this video, but we're gonna rock out. Max HP, max attack on the Tapu Bulu, I'm almost positive. Actually, can't I show you guys? I think I can show you guys. Almost positive this game lets me. If I hit like X or Y, there we go, yes. Max HP, max attack on the Tapu Bulu right there, so you guys can see the EV spreads. And then I believe I put 4 in special defense. So let's jump back to the other screen as I do like that more, but we can show the spreads right there. The moves are Protect, Wood Hammer, Superpower, and Leech Seed. Some people like to rock slide over Leech Seed. Personally, for me, I felt like I wanted Leech Seed just in case I got involved with the Celesteela and I needed to outstall it somehow. As long as I avoided any toxics or anything, I could just get a Leech Seed on there and eventually I might be able to go ahead and win that stall match. Bulu does win that match, depending on the Celesteela, but between Protect, if I have the Grassy terrain reset when that stall starts, I'm pretty sure I can rock out with that because Superpower is neutral. Wood Hammer, although it's resisted like crazy, yeah, it's not gonna break a sub. It's not gonna break a sub even with the Grassy Surge up. But one of the biggest selling points to this Pokemon is the Grassium Z, which Bloom Doom under the grass has a chance to OHKO Porygon 2. Now, if you don't understand what that means, you might not be playing the meta. Porygon 2 is pretty much the bulkiest Pokemon in the meta. I think hands down, period. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm almost positive bulkiest Pokemon in the meta. So being able to have a 12.5% chance to one-shot with just your Z move is incredibly important, especially for my team, because my team went through a lot of changes and I don't have a taunt user anymore. Or I didn't before the regional, I should say, but I don't, and this team does not have a taunt user. So I really need to be able to one-shot Trick Room users like Oranguru and Porygon 2. So with Tapu Bulu, I can do that, but it requires my opponent to let that Trick Room setter like lead with it as I lead with my Bulu, and he leaves that Pokemon in to get knocked out by Bloom Doom. So didn't happen. It happened in my round 3 against Meta, game 1, I was able to knock out his Porygon 2 before he set up his Tricker, but then games 2 and 3, he adjusted and knew that I could knock it out in that fashion. He led with an Intimidator, so that once Tapu Bulu was intimidated, I wouldn't be able to one-shot it at all. So it was a little bit of a bummer, but that's one huge weakness this team has, is Porygon 2. So right out of the gate, know that if you want to make any adjustments before you use this team, find something to counter that Porygon 2 to take it out with both. Maybe you want to run a Kartana, or you want to run a Buzzwole, who knows, something that'll hit really, really hard to knock it out as soon as possible before it sets up the Trick Room. And Buzzwole's not a bad option either, because it also hits the Oranguru for super effective damage. I think I'm going to try to make a Buzzwole team next. One of my opponents / friends that I ended up versing in the tournament used a Buzzwole, and he used some really, really cool stuff. I kind of want to get in touch with him. If you're watching this video, hit me up on Twitter, man. I know you said that you didn't watch my videos, which is totally cool, but you said you were going to subscribe. So if you see this, hit me up on Twitter. I'd love to maybe get your team on my hands, make a few adjustments, but I don't remember the Buzzwole set perfectly. I do remember one really cheeky thing about it. So that's the McCree. That is the Tapu Bulu. This is the Pokemon I really, really, really wanted to use. So from there, I went ahead and I grabbed my next Pokemon, which even though I can win the stall match against the Celesteela, I felt like Celesteela was going to be really, really, really common. So I wanted my counter to that. So I went right to Magnezone. Right when I went to Magnezone, I really felt like that was my counter. I loved having the Bulu because it could take care of the Gastrodons that I felt were going to be around thanks to the London International. So that's why I really wanted that strong grass type. And Magnezone here, works out, can get rid of the Celesteela, and that was just the next step I took. I knew that I wanted to use this thing. You guys can see I'm running Protect, Substitute, Thunderbolt, and Flash Cannon. I have the Magnet Pull ability with Bold Nature. Tapu Bulu was Adamant, of course. You guys can see the stats right here. This is at level 52. That's just what I ended up having Wiggles trained at, and it's holding the Leftovers. So really solid. You can take advantage of Grassy terrain and Leftovers combination, set up a sub, and you gain almost all of that HP back in one turn. In 2 turns, you got it all back, and you got a free sub, essentially. So if you really want to, you can Protect, hold on to it. This Pokemon came in super, super clutch for sure. Having that electric typing and having Flash Cannon was really, really, really important for sure. Let's see which I ended up doing max HP. It wasn't max defense. The spread was, I believe I ended up going 28 speed and the rest in defense. So it wasn't max defense. I wanted to speed creep Celesteela. So Magnezone has base speed of 60, whereas and by the way, if you want the paste bin for this, it's going to be in the description. This time around, I'm putting paste bins in the description. I'm going to try my best to make sure I do that for team reviews. So if you guys enjoy that, let me know by showing me some love. But we wanted to speed creep Celesteela, so I went with like around 24 to 28. I don't remember the exact specific EV spread, but I wanted to creep on the creeping creeps of Celesteela. So I wanted to go ahead and if Celesteela is 61 at level 50, Magnezone's level 60. I didn't want to go to 62 because that was only by 1 point. I wanted to actually go to 64 just in case any Celestealas were just creeping up like, oh, I'm going to speed creep the creeping Magnezone. So that's what I ended up doing with this Magnezone. So the rest of it went into defense. However, whatever brought me to 64 speed is what I'm pretty sure that's what I ended up going with. But let's go back really quick. This Pokemon is fantastic. Obviously 4 times weak to ground, weak to fire, which it's shared with the Tapu Bulu, but the ground weakness got lessened by the grassy terrain. So if you didn't know, grassy terrain actually reduces ground type attacks. So it made it so that I could actually live some hits. If I ever had to take an Earthquake from something like a Garchomp, I could, in combination of like an Intimidate or something of that nature, with this defensive spread. With this spread, I'm pretty sure I can live a non-banded EQ from Garchomp. I think that was the calc I ended up going for. But Magnet Pull, of course, that's why it completely shuts down Celesteela's. Cannot switch out, and I can Thunderbolt it for super effective damage. As long as a Marowak isn't on the other side of the field or on the other opponent's party, able to switch in, we're Gucci, we're good. But obviously now, you guys see, I have 2 Pokemon weak to fire, and that was a problem. So the next Pokemon I wanted to grab, well, to be fair, the next Pokemon I grabbed wasn't actually Garchomp, it was Crocodile. I knew I wanted a ground type, but after much training, much testing, I should say, I ended up going with Assault Vest, Garchomp, Rip Pokken. I missed the game so much, but this is my Jolly Garchomp, max speed, max attack. I don't even have to look at the EVs, that's exactly what it is. I believe, actually, you know what? Now that I said that, I feel like I just done and put my foot right in my mouth. Let's see. Nope, I did not. My foot is on the ground. We have max speed, max attack for this Garchomp with Dragon Claw, Earthquake, Rock Slide, Poison. You have, of course, no Protect because I am not able to run that with the Assault Vest item you guys can see that I'm holding. It has the sand availability, so its evasiveness increases in the sand, which is very, very crucial to remember because there's weather all around during this format. Now, during my testing, like I said, I didn't start with Garchomp, I started with Crocodile. And as I was playing, I was having a really hard time against weather teams. So in addition to wanting to cover my fire weakness to get a resistance on here, I also wanted to go ahead and I wanted to start building weather because I felt like weather was very, very important in this format. Right now, the stage we had Pelipper's running around with Torkoal Lilligant being cheeky as anything, and then a couple of Ninetales Blizzards here and there wasn't too common with a snow warning, but it was definitely something that was on my mind because Tapu Bulu is weak to the ice type moves. Garchomp is also weak to ice type moves. However, with the Assault Vest, super interesting, this Pokemon can live just about any ice type move. During the San Jose Regionals, my Garchomp was frozen twice, which you normally don't see because it normally drops to an ice type move. But no, this Garchomp right here froze twice. I don't think either time ended up mattering. Maybe one time did, but I know against, I think, what was her name? Cassie? I can't remember her name. Oh man, I feel so bad. Well, my round 3 opponent, she froze my Garchomp and I just had a good time with it. I think it was my round 2 opponent. I froze my Garchomp and I was just like, come on, I was having a good time because it was early on and I expected to just go like O2 drop anyway. So the fact that I won round 1 on stream was mind blowing in and of itself. So of course, moveset is standard. You have Poison Jab for the Tapus for any fairies that are running around. We have Dragon Claw for stab, Earthquake because stab, and Rock Slide because it's the best move in VGC. Maybe not right now, but it is pretty darn good with those flinch chances. 169 speed, obviously Garchomp sitting at 102, so outspeeding all those base 100s. However, getting outsped by a lot of common things such as Ninetales, which is why Scarf Chomp I feel like is pretty weak right now because I actually ran into 2 Scarf Ninetales during the tournament. Which I don't know how well they ended up placing overall, but that's a thing. Scarf Ninetales is a thing, I guess. So you can just get a heavy blizzard off. And Scarf Garchomp is still going to get outsped by Scarf Ninetales because Ninetales is base 109. So this is what I ended up doing. Really eats hits well. Obviously, those flamethrowers doing nothing to me, and that's what I needed for my Bulu, my Magnezone. Special hits in general can eat them up, especially when they're resisted. And if they're not, if they're just neutral, Garchomp takes them really well. And I really like this in pairing with Tapu Bulu because I get some sort of recovery. Holding Assault Vest, still getting recovery. That's why I really love Grass Terrain. However, I had to keep in mind the entire time that Grass Terrain was going to weaken my Earthquakes with this Pokemon. So after having Ripoken, that's when I also made the decision at the same time I added onto the team Gigalith, Giggles, we got Giggles and Wiggles right here. My nicknames are on fleek. So Giggles is level 55. It's a Sassy Giggles, which increases attack and lowers, let's just find out together, speed. I know lowers speed, whatever it is. I ended up going with a negative speed nature, yes. Increases special defense, which I wanted to do. This is what I ended up doing. I'm not sure, Wolf might have helped me with the spread, but I also feel like I kind of pulled it out of my butt. I can't remember. You guys can see there, we have HP is maxed out. We have investment in attack, investment in special defense, and investment in defense. So I wanted this thing to be a sponge, but still have some sort of hit behind it. Like I said, the exact spread is gonna be in the description, so please check that out. Calcs I was running, I was mainly running defensive calcs in this. Those defensive investments are very important. The attack was just what was left over, essentially. Special defense, I was looking out for moves like Scald from a Pelipper in the rain, not in the rain, in the sand, because my idea would be I'm never staying in the rain. And this Pokemon's really good. It clutched me out some really solid wins. I'm gonna say really some more in this video. It clutched out some amazing wins with Wide Guard. Wide Guard is just such a clutch move. It's so utility and very few Pokemon get it. And Gigalith might be the best Wide Guard user in the format right now. In my opinion, could be wrong. Like I said, my opinion is very new and very fresh. This is my first event, but really solid. Getting rid of the weather, it counters Torkoal. Like, my team before struggled so hard against Torkoal Lilligant. As soon as Gigalith appeared, like, those teams just fell apart. They crumbled. Being able to shut off that sun and resist. That's the biggest reason why I actually added Garchomp Gigalith, was because I was having so much trouble with the Torkoal Lilligant matchup. Like, I just couldn't handle it. So I needed the double resist. I needed the sand to come in. Now, keep in mind, Torkoal is slower than Gigalith at max negative speed. I believe mine actually is max negative speed. So, which is really good, but Torkoal actually sits, I think, at 20 at level 50, so it's still outspeeding, so you can't lead with your Gigalith. You want to keep it in the back and switch it in. What I would usually do is I would actually end up leading, like, I think I ended up going most of the time Arcanine. Oh, I didn't reveal that yet. Spoiler spoilers, either Arcanine Garchomp or Tapu Bulu Garchomp. But I didn't really want to get Bulu because I wanted to EQ and hit that Torkoal, but I digress. You have to make the calls in the play. Just always keep in mind that Grass Terrain is going to weaken your ground type moves. But Gigalith here has Rock Slide and Heavy Slam as well. Heavy Slam destroys the fairies. Like Tapu Koko is not, it might live. After Sand, I'm not sure. Maybe 2 turns of Sand will take it out because Tapu Koko, it's neutral because Electric resists Steel. But Tapu Bulu is gone, 100% gone. Heavy Slam is such a good call in this format. A lot of Mudsdales run it as well since it weighs like weighs a whole ton. So it does a whole ton of damage. But it's pretty much a standard set. Protect, Rock Slide, Heavy Slam, Wide Guard. At first I was running Toxic. Wolf actually just said, hey man, Wide Guard. I'm like, oh my gosh, I forgot how many spread moves there are. Already just listed them off. Like, yeah, you're right. Wide Guard's going back on there. And it really clutched out against Eruptions, against Blizzards, against EQs, Rock Slides. It was so good, so good. So really love Giggles. And I really want to hunt a shiny Giggles soon because shiny Giggles is my favorite. I don't even care. I'm just going to look for the nature and I will bottle cap every single stat on that Giggles. I do not care. So I kind of already said what my next Pokemon is. It is actually Arcanine, and I wanted another Fire Resist. Now this is my 3rd Fire Resist. However, it is also my 3rd ground type weakness. And this would have been pretty bad if I didn't have Wide Guard and if I didn't have Tapu Bulu. But because I had those 2 things, I was okay with having 3 ground type weaknesses. Not to mention the format is so full of electric type Pokemon like Tapu Koko, Alolan Raichu, etc. that ground type weaknesses are common, and I just want to jump in the fray. You know what? I mean, that's actually the complete opposite reason to do it, because if ground type weaknesses are common, it means that ground type attacks are going to be common as well. Hence why Garchomp is running around rampant. But Arcanine is here. Now this Arcanine, I know which timid Arcanine. Ladies and gentlemen, I was actually really upset. Like I said, I was working on this team like a couple days before. Rilo was one of the last additions. I was originally running a Gyarados for my Fire Resist and Intimidate. However, the electric weakness just didn't sit well with me. Gyarados wasn't providing the utility that I needed because I was running Dragon Dance on it. It was just like, all right, I'm scaring you out, I'm Dragon Dancing, and I'm winning. And it would happen a lot, but when I would verse higher level players on Battle Spot, I would just get wrecked. I would get red and I would get wrecked. So I wanted a Pokemon that had more utility with Intimidate, with Intimidate and Snarl. So unfortunately, I ended up I didn't realize till after I used my PP ups too. I was so mad. I texted Nips like, yeah, man, timid Arcanine. I actually didn't realize till the morning of when I was writing my team shit out. And I'm like, did I really spend the time on this timid Arcanine? How did I miss that? I don't understand, but I missed it. So I don't advise timid Arcanine. However, I will say it outspeeds max. This is one right here. Outspeeds max speed Sandslash outside of the hail. And if you don't think that's important, you are not playing No, it's probably not important. But this is the Protect, Flamethrower, Snarl, Will-O-Wisp. Let's go over the EV spread real quick for you guys. Like I said, it's also in the description. But let's take a look at it in game. I'm running. I ended up. This is my spread. This was my actual spread. Who did I train this with? Oh my gosh. Well, it's max speed, special defense, and special attack. So special attack makes sense. It has a little bit of HP as well. You know what? I think this actually, you know what? That's why I think this spread was from Wolf, actually. It was from Wolf. So shout outs to Wolf with the timid Arcanine. Unless he didn't want me to run timid and this was the spread he wanted regardless. Because Arcanine was, well, like I said, I gave it in the beginning. At the beginning of the video, I gave credit. Wolf gave me a couple spreads and Arcanine was definitely one of them, 100%. Literally just whatever he did, I trained it up. Oh my gosh, I'm telling you guys. It was just such a hectic 4 or 5 days before the tournament that everything's a blur for sure, which is totally my fault, but HP, special attack, special defense, and speed all there. Max speed Arcanine. Oh, that's right! That's right, we were talking about it, and he said you with your team, it's probably best to run max speed if you're not running extreme speed. And that's okay, so that's what we did. Never mind. That's why I outsped the Sandslash. Let's carry on. Snarl is there because Snarl put in so much work. I can't even explain the amount of work this move put in against Tapu Kokos and Raichu specifically. It was ridiculous. It was insanity how important this move was. It is also insane how inaccurate it was. Can we hold on? Let me just do this real quick for you guys. Snarl is 95% accurate. I call dirty lies. I call the dirtiest of lies. That is not 95% accurate. I missed like 7 Snarls throughout the day. It's craziness. But this is the Arcanine right here. If you guys want to use it, go ahead. It's running safety goggles, so it doesn't get hit by the sand. It also can't be put to sleep. It's another answer to the Lilligant Torkoal lead. Because I resist the fire type, I can one-shot the Lilligant in the sun if it's not Focus Sash. Maybe snag a burn or two, but more importantly, resist the eruption and go ahead and rock out with it. But Will-O-Wisp is also there to burn any physical threats. There was a couple, in one of the games that I lost, in one of the sets that I lost, turn one, I went to burn the Gyarados, missed, and Gyarados kind of just destroyed things. Game two, I went for the same exact lead and the same exact play, but I burned the Gyarados and I won that one. And then game three, I think Arcanine literally must have crossed its eyes a dozen times and I missed an insane amount of moves that game. And that set was the game where I had like 10 or 12 hacks against me and none in my favor. So it was tough, but I don't blame Rilo. I just blame GameFreak, I guess. I don't know. I love this game. So that's my Arcanine. And then my final Pokemon is going to be the Tapu Lele. Now this was tough for me. I was originally running a Gengar and Tapu Lele on the same team. At that point, I had no Arcanine. I had Gyarados instead. I had no Gigalith, and then I had Crocodile instead of Garchomp. So I was running very, very, very different team. Even the spreads were different when I was testing on Showdown. But this never changed. This was what I had from the beginning. I knew I wanted to use this. I got it in a Moonball, and I knew I wanted to use this. I had the Bottle Cap IVs, which is fine, but it is timid. It is holding the Choice Scarf, and it is rocking Moonblast, Psychic, Thunderbolt, and Energy Ball. Now, I would probably change one of these moves. I might consider changing Energy Ball, as important as it is for those Gastrodons, only because this team is Tapu Bulu. I would consider putting Nature's Madness on here. I think Nature's Madness is a super underrated move and should be used more often with how bulky this format is. If I can cut Porygon 2's attack in half, HP in half, I should be doing that. I should be doing that every single time, because I could lead Tapu Lele and Tapu Bulu, cut the HP in half, and then go ahead and use Wood Hammer, and I won't have to use my Bloom Doom. I'll just one-shot it. It will do 50% easily, hands down. I think, maybe not. I'm Bloom Dooming. I'm not sure. Regardless, I would run the Calcs, and I really want to find room for Nature's Madness on here. Thunderbolt seems like it could go as well, but honestly, I just get terrified of Celesteela. I also get terrified of Gyarados. Like I mentioned, I kind of got pushed in by one, and I was trying to use this Thunderbolt on that Gyarados, but I held it till game three, and unfortunately he didn't lead. I led with my Alice, and he didn't lead with his Gyarados. He led Gyarados every other game. So Scott played amazingly game three of that adjustment, and I never even got to reveal that I had Thunderbolt on it. It would have so easily been game, but that was my own fault. So anyway. I'm running, this is the moveset. The EV spreads are max speed, max special attack, and then 4 in, I think it's 4 in HP or 4 in defense. Either way, like I said, it'll be in the description. But this is a really cool Pokemon. Choice Scarf Timid outspeeds Choice Scarf Adamant Garchomp, which there's only a couple running around, but I think it's important to go Timid. It also can outspeed, does it outspeed? I think it outspeeds Choice Scarf Adamant Kartana. I think there's some Ultra Beast that when it's scarfed and it's not Jolly, it outspeeds it. So I just run Timid. I also want to run it because it catches people off guard. Maybe if they're running a modest scarfed Tapu Lele. I really like it. Alice is one of my favorites as well. The Tapus are just awesome. I really love all the Tapus. They're a great addition. Great addition to this game. But as you guys can see by looking at the stats, your Tapu Leles aren't going to take many physical hits. Don't depend on them for that. They can take a special hit or two. 267 special defense, not bad. 347 special attack's where it's at. In the Psychic terrain, your Psychic is doing so much damage. Abuse that, take advantage of it. However, your Moonblast will do more if it's super effective. So against the Garchomp, you're gonna wanna go Moonblast, especially if they have a Muck in the back. There were multiple times where I just went Moonblast for safety, and Muck almost always came in whenever this thing was on the field, which I understand. But the biggest reason I wanted to run this Pokemon, and why I decided to go with this instead of Gengar, because I was originally running a Focus Sash Gengar, but that had to come off because I was running Gigalith now, and the Sandstorm and Focus Sash just do not work well together. However, the biggest reason I love this is because it shuts off priority. And I already told you guys how I had a bad matchup against Trick Room. However, I had an even worse matchup against like fake out Trick Room. So Hariyama Oranguru, or Hariyama Porygon 2, etc. I had a terrible matchup against that. So I wanted to be able to shut off the priority whenever I needed to. And let me tell you, this came in so clutch in a couple of my games. One specifically comes to mind. My opponent, it was game 3. My opponent opens up Raichu and Tapu Koko. I ended up opening up Garchomp and Arcanine. So what I ended up doing, this was game 3, by the way, so just remember that, game 3. I won game 1, he won game 2, or vice versa, and then game 3 starts. he leads Raichu to Tapu Koko. First time he's done it, all set. And I was just like, oh, this is perfect. I'm swapping out my Arcanine, going into my Tapu Lele. He's going to try to fake out my Garchomp and then like Dazzling Gleam with his Life Orb to Tapu Koko because it does a good amount of damage to my Garchomp and then okay to Arcanine. But he probably would predict Arcanine to protect at that point anyway. So ended up swapping into Tapu Lele, bringing up the terrain. The fake out fails from Raichu, and then Earthquake just bodies the entire field. It felt so good. I mean, Tapu Koko got some Dazzling Gleam damage off first, which was fine because my Lele ended up living, and my Tapu and my Garchomp. And by the way, guys, I've been recounting these battles throughout both these videos. I don't have the videos. When you play in a regional format, they don't let you save battle videos. I think it's a terrible, terrible, terrible game decision. The reason why they do it is because you can actually battle. You can battle video CPUs. Basically, that trainer will use those same Pokemon, that same team, and you can kind of test against that. And that's really bad because you can scout out moves that maybe the trainer didn't use during your match because it just downloads the data. However, I understand that completely. I think that's a great reason. But I really think they should have just implemented a competition battle saver where it just was completely separate and it didn't allow you to fight the CPUs. That's a much better option than just saying, no, you can't save these battles to show your friends. Like even not from a content creator. I went to this regionals, check out this match, I really want to show you. Oh wait, I can't show you. And you can't watch during the regionals anyway because it's super like rules. You can't scout someone else's team. So it was a little bit of a bummer when I found that out. I was really hoping to upload all the battles and post commentate them for you guys, but maybe that'll come in the future generation, who knows. But this was my full team. Let me know what you guys thought. Let me know what changes you would make. Like I said, I want to add Nature's Madness, and I'm going to be using this team on VGC Factory this week for a couple episodes because I really want to see it do well on BattleSpot in addition to letting me go X2 at the San Jose Regional Championships. Thank you so much for watching this long-winded video of me just blabbering and showing off my team. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, let me know so I can bring you more of these in the future, whether it's from competitions or just teams that I use in general. I love you so much, but I'm going to get the hashtag out of here. Have yourselves a good day, but above all else, keep it shady.